62.5 million people are millionaires worldwide, and it's only increasing. There's an 11% increase from 2020 alone. 22 million people are millionaires in the US, and 33% of the US millionaires are women. Okay? And the world's 100 richest individuals earn their first million by age 37, and the average millionaire is 57 years old. I love giving you stats and facts because that scarcity, that lacking mind, that fear-based thinking, that inner bully that's telling you only the rich get richer, this is possible for them, but not for me, I'm so far away from that. Facts are the best way to speak back to and quiet down that ego because they can't get in a debate about it. It's real. And if you're like, well, I need to see the source Tiffany's using, I can't believe that. Perfect. Then you can go and Google it and you'll find it popping right up. There are more millionaires than ever, and it's only increasing. It's not decreasing. So even the state of the world with all this fear about the economy and all the hijinks going on, it's still growing. I want you to hear that it's still growing. My first business that I started, and when I left my 6-figure corporate job, I left that during not just a recession, but the second worst economic time in history next to the Great Depression, which was that like 2007-8 time period. And I made more money than I ever made in my life. You want to know why? Because while everyone was panicking and pulling back and in scarcity, I was forging ahead. And guess what? When you forge ahead and when you do the contrary action of what most people are doing because they're in their fear mind, there is no way you can't get rich, honey. This is part 2 of money hacking for multi-passionate business owners. And this is going to sound completely counterintuitive to what you assume about generating freedom level wealth. But I'm going to walk you through my hacks on how to strategically spend money in order to make more money. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash-making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow in your business and your bank account and in that giant overthinking, overanalyzing brain of yours in order to create the life that you so deeply desire and deserve. Part 2 of this incredible money hacking for multi-passionate business owner series. I'm going to teach you all about the difference between strategic and non-strategic spending for your life and your business. So how to spend money to make more money. And this does not matter if you're in debt right now, if you're making millions a year, if you're making 100,000 a year, if you're making 40,000 a year, this will work for you. So in case you've forgotten, I used to be a broke ass. I was making $17,000 a year, and then I went to like about $25,000, then $33,000, then I went to $48,000, $54,000, $68,000, $76,000, I believe, then $88,000, which I thought was a major deal. Then I finally got to that coveted 6 figures. So it's not like I all of a sudden got here if I hadn't spent so much time in the corporate world, just pouring in time, energy, effort, and heart and my talent for these incremental increases. Oh my God, I would I'd be chilling on a beach in Fiji somewhere, just supporting my charities at this point. But so many of us are taught that's the coveted way. That is the way. It's the safe way. It's the responsible way. There are so many other ways. And it's okay if you love that way and that way is working for you. I'm thrilled for you. But what I've noticed is at a certain point, especially I notice for women and multi-passionate, more heart-based men, that corporate grind, that's not going to cut it for you at a certain point. And it's probably not been cutting it for you for a long time. So that's why you've already left and started your business, or you're side hustling, or you're thinking about it, or you're wanting to. You're wanting more and you're wanting it on your terms. And then your brain starts thinking of all the reasons why it won't work. It gets into resistance. Well, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. How am I going to get ahead? Because the richest keep getting richer, and I'm not a trust fund person, and I don't have a rich husband, and so on and so on and so on. I've never had a rich husband, although I've never had a husband, now that I think about it, and engaged 3 times. I welcome rich husband status, just so everyone knows. I'm here for it. I don't have a single family member that is healthy that I talk to. Well, I only have one that's still alive. So there's that. So that whole self-made thing, I know that gives some of you a little bit of a rash. And it can with me too, because we really don't do this alone. I had so many mentors, professors, friends, supporters that have helped me get here, team members. But for lack of me coming up with a better term, because I'm not as well caffeinated as I would like to be for you right now, I'm self-made, and I'm saying that so you know you don't have to have all these things. You can do it on your own. I coach many women who've gotten out of marriages and are recently divorced. I coach people who have 6 kids and a corporate job and are doing this on the side. If you want it badly enough, and you're passionate to the point of being obsessed with it, then we can make that happen. So let's talk about the strategic spending. When it comes to spending money in your business, not all expenses are created equal. In your business, there are certain areas where a small investment can make a leveraged return. And then there are other areas where a big investment can be a total waste of money. And I know a lot of you listening have experienced that. You've bought a course, a program, you've hired a coach, maybe an ad agency, me last year, where it might have even cost you money or cost you energetically, mentally, physically, and financially, right? And then it leaves you not wanting to invest again or do that again. And oh my God, I'm still paying that off. So why would, I go forth and do Tiffany's Selling with Soul, even though I should have done that program from the beginning, but I was resistant to doing it for whatever reason. Well, you lose twice then, and we're going to get into that. Because that would be like saying, oh, well, I'm never going to get married again, or I'm never going to date again, or I'm never going to allow myself to fall in love again, or I'm never going to trust someone again when you've been burned. And it's normal to say that in the beginning because you're so hurt and you're discouraged and you're defeated and you're mad at yourself. But you lose so much by not going after it again. In fact, you lose more. And not everything you touch is going to turn to gold. Not everyone you meet is going to be a great person. Not every relationship you engage with is going to be for a lifetime, right? That's where that saying comes from. It's people are there, circumstances, mentors, whatever. It's a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Sometimes we have to have things not work out in our business, in our bank account, in our personal life, in order to teach us something, in order to even test our fortitude, to test our faith, because maybe we waver in that area. It's to test to see, well, how bad do you want it? Do you only want it when everything feels good, when you're being constantly affirmed and constantly validated? Or do you truly want it? Because how you can tell if someone truly wants a relationship, truly values a friendship, truly wants to grow the business and cares about the people that business serves is when the shit hits the fan, is when you're sick, and then you have your kids sick, and then no one is available to help you watch the kids because then they don't want to get sick. And then you have a full-time job, but you're also in the middle of a launch for your business and you don't know how you're going to do all the things and you're at your wit's end, and now your sink is leaking and now the toilet is clogged and you're having a full breakdown. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. But that's what really shows you, do you really want it? Those are the people who succeed, who forge ahead. Or are you someone who folds up and quits? Now, you might fold up and quit for the day, and I don't blame you. Believe me, I've been there. Was it this week? I think I had a day this week. I was like, you know what? I'm over everybody and everything, and I'm going to put myself in a magic bubble. But then we come back. So the flip side of that is, there are places and times where a big investment could have even been a bigger payoff, except your ass, and I'm including myself too, my ass was playing cheap. An example, this launch I'm doing right now, as you hopefully have seen it, but some of you might not have, was Selling with Soul. It's my signature program. It is designed to get you rolling in the cash and clients and get offers put out there that are strategically designed to be irresistible to your ideal client. So how to package them, how to price them, how to name them, how to present them, how to share them, how to sell them, how to get on the offense of people's objections about time and money and all before summer. And I only offer my signature program once a year. So the enrollment's open for a little bit longer. You get $1,000 off. I've added payment plans. You can get in for as little as $377. There's over $1,800 in bonuses. This is a combination of very specific modules. So you do like 2 modules with specific homework. I've cut out any fluff. There's no busy work. There's no added over explaining. We just get right to the point. And then we have a live training that goes in to the weeds with it all so that we can customize it for your business, your personality style, get your questions answered. And we've already had dozens of people sign up who came from Make Bank, which was my 3-day beautiful series. There was like over 3,000 people signed up. It was incredible. And those people who signed up right away automatically got access to modules 1 and 2, and then some of the bonuses. So they've already gotten started. People are obsessed. There are countless comments in our private Facebook group saying, oh my God, my mind is blown. Just in like module 1 alone, this is more value than a program that I did last year that was $10,000. And it's like, yeah, I know, but I don't want you to take my word for it because you're going to think that I'm just maybe saying that because you've been burned before. Well, go check out the page because the results are right there. And I can't make those up. These are coming right from the students. And the reason I gave those payment plans, even though I'm acting as the bank and I'm taking the risk here, is because I wanted to take away that money noise in your brain. There is no way you can't make this work if you really want it to work. But don't complain when we're in June, we're in July, and your books are not full. You are still on the struggle bus, trading time for money, posting a bunch of crap that people are saying, oh my God, you're so inspiring. That's so great. Someday I want to work with you, and you're getting the hearts, but no one is buying. Don't be complaining and upset about that because you didn't strategically spend on this. Even though it makes you temporarily uncomfortable now, it's like, ooh, I would rather do it when I have more money coming in. Well, this is the program to get more money coming in. So that's where we're looking at that strategic spending. It's like, is this going to get you closer to where you want to go? Yeah, that's leveraging the money, even if you're using credit cards, even if you're using PayPal credit, even if you're using Uncle Joe, in order for you to grow. What's going to get you there? Or is it going to get you there faster to keep trying it? Oh, I'll just try. I'll keep posting more. I'll figure it out. I'm going to kind of study what other people do and then reverse engineer it. And I'll study all of Tiffany's stuff. Maybe I'll even lift some of her copy. Hopefully she doesn't see it. And I'll see if that works. And then when I have more money, maybe I'll do it. Well, I don't offer this until next year. So where I was going with this whole thing before I went off on a very under-caffeinated tangent is I was very resistant to running any ads this year for my free 3-day series because last year I spent over $40,000 and it did not pay off. And I invested in it thinking and believing it was strategic spending of what I'm teaching you today. And it didn't pay off. And not all investments will pay off. If you work with a financial advisor and they're telling you this is a guaranteed payoff, run. There is no guaranteed payoff in the stock market. There's not, period. But I was like, well, this is strategic spending. Okay, so it was caused me so much stress, my team's stress, time, energy. It was a shit show. And I didn't want to. But then I paused, and I want you to pause. You got to pause. We're insane. When we're in fear and fight or flight, we get in this all or nothing response, this reactionary response. Just pause and go, okay, hold on. Let me tap into my more abundant self. Let me take myself out of my business and pretend that I'm like a consultant to this business. You need to look at it like a third party. You're a third party consultant to your own business instead of you being in it. And if you're an outsider looking in, does that really make sense, right? Did it make sense for me to not do any ads at all? Would that really set myself up to have my biggest launch yet for Selling with Soul? No. Is it a have to do ads? No, but where I'm at, and it's exactly what I teach you guys. If you're I would say you don't need ads up until the 300,000, 320,000 a year mark. But you're starting to go for the high 6 figures, 7 figures. Yes, ads are strategic spending because you're getting more of a share of voice. You're leveraging that money to make more money. So I said, no, I need to do ads, but let's do it differently. And I did do it differently. But when I had the discussion with my team about doing ads, I was still rooted in fear from what happened the year prior. So I was uncomfortable giving them more budget to work with. So instead, I went with pretty much the minimum budget, which was me operating out of scarcity, because ads are still a gamble. That's not a guarantee either. And again, anyone who tells you that it's a guarantee is a scam. And I was like, let's do the bare minimum. And then if that works, we'll add on to it. Okay, that's fine that I did that, right? You can do that. But guess what happened? Now that it's fully open to the public for Selling with Soul, looking back, if I had started, and even if I didn't start with the highest budget, but if I didn't go with the lowest, I at least went in between and took more of a risk, guaranteed I would have had, we're almost at $100,000 from pre-launch. I would have for sure been over 6 figures just in the pre-launch alone before opening to the public. Do you see what I mean? How that cost me? And I'm not going to sit here and beat myself up, but because it still did work. But me being cheap and operating out of fear and toe dipping because of what happened in the past, actually, it didn't fuck me, but it absolutely did affect my business. Now, if I paused instead of being in that reactionary state and was looking at my business as a third-party consultant, what would I have told one of my clients to do? I would have said, okay, we don't have to put maximum budget in because we don't want to get you to a point where you're totally spun out and freaked out. But let's at least cut it down the middle and go halfway, because going in entry level, what are you going to get? You go after the minimum risk is going to get you minimum results. It really is. Sometimes you'll get lucky, right? But if you want to have maximum results, you got to put maximum risk. So let's cut it in the middle then. And that's what I would have said, but I didn't pause. And I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years. So I wanted you to hear that example, okay? I've coached Wow, over the last 15 years, hundreds of thousands of business owners at various stages of growth. And one of the biggest turning points for my clients financially is when they learn the difference between strategic and non-strategic spending. So strategic expenses. A strategic expense is any expense that will yield immediate profit for that expense, or it's an expense that strongly protects the profit in the business. A strategic expense can also be one that will in the near term lead to future profits. Like you might not get it right now, but like 3 months from now, you could get it. So for example, me spending the money on those ads, there's a percentage of those people who attended Make Bank, you might be one of them, that might not have bought for whatever reason Selling with Soul, but 3 weeks from now, you buy something else from me, or maybe you went into my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership. You got something else from me because you're now introduced to me. You're in my world. There's another offer I have that seemed to fit better for you right now. So let's give some examples of strategic expenses. Marketing that works, salespeople who sell, key team members who are doing great work. So let's say you hired a professional services firm to do your social media content. I see this all the time, by the way. And this is a big win that I did from the beginning because of my years of experiences as an entrepreneur, which is why you only want to hire a business coach who's had multiple businesses, has coached a wide array of people, and who's done it for a long time. The reason is we've made a ton of mistakes. And you can only make so many mistakes and have so many wins in so much time. So I have a ton, and then you're paying me to leverage all of my knowledge, my intel, my inside scoop, my strategies, my secrets, the things that have worked, all the money I've wasted, all the money that I didn't waste. You're paying to get that advantage, which is why I packaged it all into Selling with Soul, which you can swipe up. That link is in the show notes, projectmewithtiffany.com/selling with soul. All the details, all the results, all the things are in there, and you can start for as little as $377. It will not be available again till next year. So I don't want you to miss that leverage opportunity. So yes, I'm going to be annoying, potentially annoying to you, and keep bringing it up until you go, fine, I'll look at the damn page and do the stupid thing. Plus it's a tax write-off, because you get a certificate of completion from me, a world-known top sales specialist. I speak all over the world on this stuff. And this is specifically an investment to get you a return on that investment for your business. Thus, it's a tax write-off, and you don't have to be an accountant to know that, okay? So let's take a look at a big mistake that I see a lot of early business owners making, not even early, people who are new to the making money online, passive income, additional revenue streams, getting more clients and cash online, which is what I specialize in. So whether you're a practitioner, a lawyer, a healer, a coach, a makeup artist, whatever it is, you don't have much more time in the day. So you have to pay other people to do stuff for you because you're leveraging time. And you leverage that time because the time that it would take you to do these other things, you need to be focused on your area of genius and more income generating activities. So I see people countless times who end up coming to me. I have a client I'm thinking of, and I love you because I know you're probably listening. I'm not going to say your name because I didn't ask your permission. And she's a lawyer, and she came to me because she knows she is missing out on significant income by having an online arm to her business, like teaching other lawyers, how to blah, 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 being able to sell courses online or packs of contracts so that small business owners can buy them, ebooks, things like that. And then in turn, getting additional law clients there. And she came to me because she's like, okay, this profitable content thing you teach, Tiffany, Like, now I'm finally getting it. Like, you can't just put out pretty pictures and stuff that sounds professional and teach people things and they're going to buy it. I paid a social media person. Some of you have done this or are doing this, right? You've paid a VA, an individual, a social media company, a marketing company to just get this stuff done because you're not doing it. Well, that is not being strategic. That's not you pausing for a second. Just paying someone to do something is not going to get you great results. I'd be like, I just need someone to come in to clean my house. And I know you've all done this. And I almost wanted to say the name of this company, but I don't want to get sued. Let's just say if you're in the US, it starts with Molly, okay? And I just want to hire someone. Oh, they have a coupon or a Groupon or whatever. They come in, they just are moving dust around. And then you've paid money and you don't have the feeling of walking in and your house smells great and it's clean and it's fresh and what a wonderful feeling. And your windows are still dirty, the oven's dirty, because those are all extras if you wanted them to do that. And they didn't get in the nooks and crannies and it was just some crap. Well, what the hell was that? You just wasted that money. So I see people doing this with hiring people for their business just to get it done. Done doesn't yield profits. It just doesn't. And if you want something fixed, don't you want it fixed right? So just slapping up stuff up there, this lawyer did that. And then the person who they hired ended up buying them followers or putting them in giveaways to get followers. And now their entire algorithm is all messed up. They don't feel an integrity because they have all these bots in their account. No one's engaging with their stuff and it's boring. So all of that money, and I think she spent like in total over a year and a half, $35,000, yielded her nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's shift into an example that might not be as obvious. So this last week, I probably went to my favorite salad place. Shout out to my favorite pistachio vinaigrette dressing. I believe I went there 4 times in this last week. I was wrapping up the first phase of the launch, and I just was in a deep craving for this salad that much. Well, with tip and because I get extra dressing on the side and they have to charge for it because apparently pistachios are quite expensive. It's $40 each time. So I spent about $160 this week just on my lunch. Why was that strategic spending for me? Because you could say, God, Tiffany, you could have had a protein shake for lunch. You could have made a sandwich at home for probably $4. Well, number one, the salad is incredibly healthy and nutrient rich. Number 2, the environment is very nurturing and inspiring to me. Number 3, I get a boost of energy by eating lots of vegetables and by being in such a beautiful, great environment that I end up writing incredible content and emails for you guys in there. I get great ideas. I sit there and people watch. I delight in it. It increases my mood and my happiness. And then what happens as a result? That energy I'm in and that work I got done and the energy I was in doing that work only transfers to you guys, my ideal client, and I in turn end up having more people join Selling with Soul because they can feel it. I'm creating content that is eye-catching, content that really connects, that feels good, and I'm showing my ideal client on top of it, like, yeah, this is what freedom level cash is. This is what's available for you, where it's not just about the fact that I can get the $40 salad. It's about the fact that I can go sit there at this cafe for 2 to 3 hours and luxuriate whenever I want. That's the freedom of time. That to me is even more precious. Another example, I am looking right now for a new beach house. Not that I don't like this current beach house. It's about $13,000 a month. As I'm talking to you, I'm looking at the ocean, which looks like glass today, and there's sailboats out there. Beautiful. I won't get into why I'm leaving. I talk about it inside my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership because that's a private space. I can't talk about it publicly. But let's just say there's a scarcity energy going on with the owner. And I'm not about that life and I don't want it. And I just felt the time has been done here. I want something more luxurious, and I want something that's more on point to have in-person podcast guests and a lot of exciting things that I have in the works. So the house that I'm still looking, you can follow me on Instagram stories. I'm showing a lot of the spaces to you guys on there. One of the spaces that's a top contender in the running is more money than what I'm paying, which sounds even wild to me. Don't get me wrong. It sounds, what is going on here? I've normalized this dollar amount, but it still sounds wild. And it's like, okay, let's look at the strategic spending, because someone could say, well, that's not strategic, Tiffany. That's crazy. You could still be in a place that doesn't have an ocean view. Like, you take the ocean view away and it drops to $5,000-6,000 a month. Okay. It's like, well, you could do that, Tiffany. You don't have to have a second house at all. That's not strategic spending. Au contraire, my friend. Au contraire. It started as an experiment, but my first beach house, that was more of like a vacation rental. That was right on the ocean. That was about $15,000 a month. That was strategic spending. It was an experiment. I didn't know it would pay off because that's my first time ever spending anywhere near that on a place to live. Like, I really started out making $15,500 a year in my work life. And this was $15,000 a month. But what I said is, I'm going to have a live event here. And I think I charged like $3,500 a person for 2 days. It was something around there. And then the money I make from that is going to offset the rent of this place, which also makes it a tax write-off, strategic spending, because I'm using it for business and there's photos and pictures and video. It's all legit. And how inspired I am there, how great the content is from there. And that paid off. And I ended that year, was at 2021, my highest year yet in ProjectME by far. I was like, okay, this is working. So then I went to a second beach house. Now I'm going on my third. This one's more expensive, the one that's in the running. And my scarcity thinking started coming in. Same thing like I did with the ads, right? It's like, same thing when people are like, let's just call Molly blank cleaning service to come in instead of hiring the white glove, top-notch people that are 3 times the price. Well, what do you think is going to get you better results? Do you want the knockoff Louis Vuitton bag or do you want the real bag? And it's okay if you have a knockoff or two. I think I have a change purse and a cosmetic bag that are knockoffs. But like, you can't expect to have the real thing and the holy grail results and have the feelings attached to it by toe dipping, and by toe dipping in your business and toe dipping in your personal life. You can't have a wall up or a guard up and expect to cultivate and create and nurture an incredible friendship or relationship. That's just not possible. That's you trying to have it both ways because you're scared. That's you holding on to the branch of the tree, but you really want to be on the ground, but you're not willing to let go and have that temporary fear to get there. You'll never get there otherwise. You're going to just keep wasting money on the minimal stuff, on the so-so stuff, on the fantasy marketing stuff, and not actually get to the thing. So the tickle in my brain was like, don't spend even more money. That's insane. Like, you need to find something that's less or at least equal. And I kept going over and over in my brain. And I was like, yeah, but I'm so drawn to this place. It's so interesting. I can't stop thinking about it. There's enough rooms so that like my creative team can come in, and I'm not going to go into the detail about what really cool events we're going to have there, but it's like a perfect setup for these events. And then the brain's like, no, you shouldn't do it, Tiffany, because what if you don't get enough people who sign up for those? Then what are you going to do? What if there's a third human created disease that comes out and wipes out half of the population, and I start coming up with all of this stuff. Stop, pause, become a third party to your own business. Is this strategic spending? How are you going to leverage this space, Tiffany? How is this going to add to your bottom line in your business? How is this going to add to the bottom line in your health? How is this going to add to the bottom line in your happiness, in your wealth? And take a look from that perspective. And then that scarcity goes away. So let's take a look at investing and selling with soul, because you're going, okay, I get it, Tiffany. I can get in for $377 a month, or I can pay in full and save a bunch of money and get additional $1,800 in bonuses. And I definitely want this all popping by summer. And I already resonate with you. I trust you. You have the receipts. I see all the students who've taken it, and even the students who've already started early on the modules, how much they're obsessed with it. But I'm like, God, I'm still paying off another thing. Or I did these 2 other group programs and then I don't really show up yet. I don't feel I have enough money to do private coaching with you yet. And am I really going to do another group thing? Is that really smart for me right now? I think it's good that you're thinking about all of these things. We just need to kind of shift how you're thinking about it. Is you doing this and investing this going to strategically set you up and leverage that money you're spending in order for you to get an ROI in your life personally and professionally, in your mindset, in your business model, in taking the stress away of how to figure out how to package and present and share and price your offers, on having that clarity and having lifetime access, by the way, to this. You get lifetime access to this program. You don't have to pay any sort of membership fee or anything to keep learning from me over and over again and have refreshers. So taking a look at that, if the answer is, okay, yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee, but maybe you're worried, am I going to really show up? Well, give me some credit. I coach multi-passionate, ADHD, trauma surviving, wild, crazy brained people and entrepreneurs. Don't you think that I've designed this knowing that you're like that? Knowing that you tend to start off strong and tail off? I know that's why I have made everything short, succinct, to the point, and direct. But it gets to be different this time because you're different. So then you have to look at the cost analysis of not doing it. What are you risking by not doing this? What are you risking by, I'll just figure it out. I'll just keep posting more. I'll just keep trying this and that. I'll just, you know what I'll do? I will binge Tiffany's podcast and I'll apply what I learned from there. And there's nothing wrong with that, but don't expect to have the massive results and the massive cash and the massive growth by taking toe dipping effort. And there's nothing wrong with toe dipping. Just take away that expectation. Same thing like I did with the ads. I can't expect to have massive signups when I really was investing and taking a, let's just say, low to mid-level risk. That's us fooling ourselves. So you just have to be honest on where you're at. But strategic spending goes everywhere from that salad you're having to moving somewhere new that may seem out of your budget right now. It's spending money that you don't even have yet in order to leverage that money, meaning what you're taking from a business loan. There's a reason why those exist. Maybe what you're taking from PayPal credit, what you are taking from a loan from your parents, what you're taking from a loan from your credit cards. Leveraging what you're spending, whether it is hard money you have or money that you don't, in order to get an immediate return on that money or a near future return or a long future return financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically. This is the game changer in your business. We unpack this more inside my program. Go take a look. Links in my show notes. If you're loving this series, please share it with someone. This is part 2. We have 2 more parts. Next episode is our 500th episode, which is crazy. Go leave a written Apple Podcast review. Put your name or Instagram handle in the review. Take a screenshot of it. DM it to me. And we're doing a special giveaway for each person who does a review. Every single person. And it's a surprise. Now, a lot of people will leave a review and they don't want anything in return because they're saying this is truly for abundance and I've been procrastinating and putting off giving you a review and I'm an asshole and I just want to do this for you. And I welcome and take that as well. And I appreciate that. But I still would love it if you put your name or Instagram handle in the review so I can acknowledge you and share my appreciation for showing your gratitude for the show and all the work and heart and effort and soul that goes into it from me, from my podcast producer, from my coordinator, from all the great guests, from my multiple personalities. I love you guys so much. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.